Gear Talk Radio. You're in to all things music.
Welcome to Music Gear Talk. Discover the tech that inspires the pros and powers today's music industry.
That's right. It's another Music Gear Talk, powered by the mighty Intertalk Media. You're into all things music, and of course, it's how you connect to the music industry. My name is Florentino. I'm your host today, and we are going to be going through a very cool company that will get you the sound that you want and save your ears in the process. We are bringing on Vitaliy Belonozhko. Hopefully I pronounced that right.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. Thanks for having me on the show, Florentino.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for joining us here, man. And we're all probably still recovering from NAMM, even though it's been over a month now. But that's just takes a lot out of you, and that's how we connected up with you. And you guys have a good show?
Yeah, we did, and it was our biggest booth ever. We keep growing every year, which is cool. And speaking of recovering from the show, we still haven't unpacked our crates. So
I feel
it's
you,
been
man.
Very busy since we came back.
Yeah, I feel you. You're probably fulfilling all those orders there with all all the retailers saying, "Hey, we need to have some 64 audio headsets," and that kind of jumps us right into it. Kind of a good segue here. Your company makes incredible in-ear monitors, and it kind of covers both studio as well as on stage, and they're definitely the top of the heap here. And wanted to kind of find out. Let's just kind of start at the beginning. How did you get into this business, and how did you start 64 Audio?
Yeah, so it was kind of interesting because it's probably not your typical story, but. I, at the very early age of, I think, about 13 years old, maybe 12, I'll back up for just a sec. So we immigrated from Ukraine in 1992. And so I was about 10 years old.
Oh, okay.
And my dad took 8 of us kids and brought us over here and to the Northwest. And, they actually had 4 more kids. So I'm one of 12 children. In our family, and so at an age of about 12, at an age of about 12 to 13, I picked up a keyboard that I just found in our closet, and the reason why I found it is because my parents bought my older brother, because I'm second oldest, and they bought him this keyboard to try to encourage him to play music, but he kind of chucked it into the closet and was done with it after probably a few hours. Of messing around.
Oh, wow.
And I picked it up and I said, wow, this is interesting. I started to kind of, it was a little Casio. Long story short is I fell in love with music. And, years later, I got to, improve on my skills, and I got to get into sound engineering at my church that I was going to. And, slowly it was just kind of getting my skills and my knowledge built up in audio and music. And what happened is in 2003, I purchased my first set of custom in-ears. And I remember the day like yesterday, they came at like 6 p.m. They got delivered, and I think I went to bed at 3 or 4 a.m. that night because
listening.
I was just listening to music in bed, just discovering this whole new soundscape and these little gems that I had in my ears.
Awesome.
And so fast forward.
Before you go to that, I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
What were they? What was your first set?
In terms of brand,
or
just
what were the brands? What was brand model?
Well, they were the dual drivers from Sensophonics.
Okay, cool.
So they at the time they were the only ones making fully silicone earpieces.
Gotcha.
And I think I couldn't audition the things before I bought them, but kind of bought them on faith thinking that this must be a good product, and it worked fine for the time.
Yeah, and the dual drivers at the time was pretty revolutionary, but obviously not quite the same
exactly.
now.
I mean, I think there was triples out there at the time, but my budget couldn't allow for that. So so that's what I started with in about 2003.
And then you fast forwarded. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just wanted to kind of know where that foundation came from. So fast forwarding.
Yeah. Fast forward to about, I would say 2008, 2009, which unfortunately, that pair that I purchased broke not very long into me owning them, probably 8 or 9 months, and they were they broke. The cables weren't detachable, so they detached from the drivers, and it was intermittent. So I put them away in the drawer, and so going to about 2008, 2009, I get married. I got married in 2008, so I get married in 2008, and my wife's also a singer, and she, did some stuff with the worship team in our church, and she needed a pair of customs. And, I'm a broke musician. I don't have the money to, and I'm a little bit stingy at that point. And I don't want to buy her a set of new customs because that's going to set me back, $600-800.
Yeah.
So I get this bright idea of taking the guts of my broken ones and reshelling them into her shape of the ear, so that, she can have in-ears. And I bought myself other sets. So, so it's not like I was hurting. It was just trying to save money,
Yeah.
And
sense.
Long story short, a couple of years into it, well, it took me, so when I set out on this quest, how do I do that? There's no book out there that teaches you how to make in-ear monitors. At least at the time there wasn't. And so
that book is still being written
Google
right now, right?
Probably, yeah. And it's being rewritten because we're changing technologies as we go.
Exactly.
But the fact of the matter is that I started to pick people's brains, and I met some people that kind of gave me bits and pieces of information that I pieced together. I saw some stuff online that helped me, and so little by little I started to piece together, how do I actually make an in-ear monitor? So it took me about a couple of years, and by July of 2010, I decided that I was going to launch a company. And the reason I decided that is because I had, when my friends and kind of friends of friends heard that I was making in-ears for dirt cheap, because I wasn't running a business, I was just kind of helping people out.
Yeah.
The orders kind of started to pour in. And I thought to myself, and I remember this very clearly, I thought to myself, if I can get one order a day, I'll be set for life. I'll be able to provide for my family. I will make enough money to pay for the bills and lead a decent lifestyle. I just need one order a day. And that was my goal. Obviously no business plan, no big dreams of, having a facility or anything like that. My spare bedroom, one order a day, set for life. I can still do music, and that was kind of the plan. So that was in July 2010.
And that's changed quite a bit, I imagine, since then.
And that's changed quite a bit, yeah. Changed to where we are at about 64, 65 employees currently. And we're in a 12,000 square foot building with, products that we're shipping about maybe 20 universals and about 35 customs each day. So it's a little bit different than I imagined.
Yeah, definitely. You've kind of grown. In fact, kind of, as we've got up to this, this. I mean, you're definitely an iconic company here, in a burgeoning part of the industry, because in-ears typically have are being adopted at record rates, but it hasn't been the standard. Usually it's wedges and other things, but you've also looked at how to bridge that to other arenas, for studio or for just for pure recreation. Let's kind of talk about some of the models that you have. Kind of lead us through a little bit on the models and the differences. Obviously, the amount of drivers that are in each one will dictate, the level of expense. But, what are some of the things that people can look forward into your product?
Yeah, so I think, if you look at our product lineup, some people might ask the question, why so many different models, right? Like, isn't an earphone an earphone?
Yeah.
But the reality is, like you just said, is there is a difference between the models based on their design and the amount of drivers that they have. We tried to cover the whole gamut in terms of we want to be the company to go to if you're just an emerging band. We also want to be the company to go to if you are doing much better and you're kind of a medium level band. And we also have this very, very high end product for we call them the positional goods customers, mostly from Southeast Asia, I have to admit. But it's when, you're spending $3,000 and up on a product for purely listening pleasure. You're not even doing it as a profession or, you're not making money on it. You are doing it because you want the best of the best and you have the means to acquire this type of gear.
Yep.
So we covered all the price points with our products.
Now, yeah, I seen everything from the A2Es, which are $399. These are the custom stuff, by the way, folks. Up to the A18T, up to $3,000. 18 drivers, man. That is awesome.
Yeah.
A few more since the 2-driver one that you started off with, right?
Yeah, exactly. There's been other models in the industry that are called the 18, but they have like 6 drivers. So we like to stick to our number, meaning that it actually corresponds to something. If you know BMW kind of nomenclature, their numbers used to correspond to the engine size. So it'd be like a 325. It's a 3 Series with a 2.5 liter in it. I think they've gone away from that, but that's recently. But we like to have some kind of rhyme and reason to the nomenclature. Like you mentioned, is that you've got these different price ranges, and there is a sound quality difference between them as well. And the one thing that I think we do differently is that we don't try to hold anything back when we're designing a product, meaning that we'll give you the best sounding 2-driver that we can come up with, no matter, what the price is. We're not trying to downgrade the product because of price. As you can tell, we haven't taken away most of the features. So we still have like Apex in the A2E because we firmly believe in the health aspect of it, in the comfort of the product. And then recently here, we at NAMM actually we debuted or pre-launched, I should say, our what I call the TIA-fied custom line. So meaning it used to be that you'd only get the TIA technology, which is tubeless in-ear audio, in the $3,000 product and up. Well, now we've brought it down to that $700 price point, which is the A3T. The next step up would be the A4T. So when we add the T to the name, we're adding the TIA technology.
Gotcha.
But just as an example of, and we didn't raise the price on the products either. So we're giving people more for the same price essentially, and really working hard to improve that experience without making the customer pay more.
Gotcha. Hey, Vitaliy, we're going to go into a quick commercial break, and we've got a few seconds left. Let's give a shout out to the URL here. It's at 64audio.com, and that's the number 64. Numbers, I should say, 64audio.com. Social media, how can they find you on social media?
Yeah, I mean, most of our networks, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, it's all 64 Audio. So Facebook/64 Audio and
pretty
so
easy
forth.
to find.
So
very cool.
Pretty easy to find.
We're going to come back from a short break here. Stay tuned for more about 64 Audio.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on intertalkradio.com.
Welcome to Music Gear Talk. Discover the tech that inspires the pros and powers today's music industry.
We are back with Music Gear Talk, powered by the mighty Intertalk Media Company here, the leader when it comes down to anything about the music business and talking to people about it. So connect to all things music is our little tagline. I want to take a moment to give a shout out to our sponsors, Pitbull Audio at pitbullaudio.com. They are an amazing company out in National City, and I think, all of us here are musicians, and that's where we get our gear. And the cool thing is they are about the musicians. They just want to keep powering you, and they never want you to let it go, because music is an important part of our lives. And probably one of the things I don't get a chance to do as much now that I'm running a radio network. I'm talking with Mr. Vitaliy Belo from 64 Audio, and basically he's been talking to us about creating this really juggernaut in-ear monitor company. And I guess the first question I have to ask you is, you started this to kind of be able to play music and feed the family. Do you still get a chance to play? Obviously, you're feeding the family pretty well now.
Yeah, they get their cake. I'm a huge fan of music, and I do. I don't get to play a whole lot, professionally, meaning on stage. My wife and I will do weddings occasionally, which is a lot of fun. Oh, yeah. It's just our way of we hire a babysitter because I have 2 kids now, and we go do this wedding gig, which I think, to me, it just brings it back to why I do what I do. Yeah, because it is, my first love was music.
And you're a keyboard player, right?
I am a keyboard player, and I own a very nice Nord keyboard that I just absolutely love. And I try to play them almost every night. If the kids allow me, meaning if they go to bed on time, and I have, maybe 30 minutes to an hour to just explore the keyboard and just kind of let my creativity out. And so yeah, in that way, I am still playing the keyboard.
Awesome. We'll have to do a jam. I play bass. Paul plays guitar. We just need to find a drummer, and we got the whole band covered. So, kind of speaking on that, there is some pretty amazing players, and actually good friends of ours that use your technology. One in particular, Kenny Arnoff, is a great friend, and he's been on the network a number of times, and he uses your technology. And you got everybody. You just got tons of people that do. Tell us about some of the folks. Who was like the first notable that you would say that's Scott? I need this technology.
The band that kind of kicked it off for us was a Christian band by the name of Newsboys.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I know of them.
Yeah. So, anyways, they were, and it's an interesting story. So, I hounded the monitor engineer for a couple of years before I got him to try our stuff, and it was interesting where I kept, very, very politely approaching and said, hey, I've been, designing these in-ears. I'd love for you to try them. And he kept kind of blowing me off saying, I've tried it all. I've looked at everything. Nothing does it for me. What I have currently is the best of the best. And I won't go into the brand, but I finally got him to try it after a couple of years of going like, look, I'll send you a set at no cost and all this, And when he tried it, he called me back and said, "What in the world are you doing?" And we've been really good friends ever since, and that's kind of what kicked it all off for us. And I think back on it took that kind of it's like that spark to get the whole thing going.
Yeah, definitely. And after the Newsboys, I mean the list is crazy. You've got Alicia Caria, one of the new ones out, Bon Jovi, Shaka Khan, there we go, Josh Stone, Joe Walsh.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the notable ones that I remember back in the day was the Earth, Wind, and Fire band, and the only downside to that endorsement was there's just so many people in the band.
Oh yeah,
I think we ended up doing like 18 sets, which almost bankrupted the company. This was a long time ago.
One of my good friends plays drums with them, John Paris. So that was I remember that one just because it was so large of an order. But the thing about our product is that when people get it, they're very passionate about it, and they start doing the advertising for us. So we don't have to try to sell our product. They usually come to us and say, like, I've heard nothing but amazing things. How can I get into a set? Yeah.
And that's usually how it goes.
And do you have the audiologist make the molds, or do you have molds available in different, higher profile cities?
We do work with kind of key audiologists in sort of, Nashville, LA, New York. But outside of that, there's almost every city has an audiologist that we have on our map that we've worked with before in some capacity. So just a matter of kind of, finding someone who understands the impression needs to be done for a professional monitor product versus a hearing aid, and usually they're fine.
Gotcha. In fact, kind of on a personal note, I want to recommend one of our show hosts, Aaron A. Train Smith out in Nashville. He started off playing for the Temptations and played Papa Was a Rolling Stone drummer. And then he's kind of moved on, and he really kind of helped to bridge the worship market. He started off with the 77s, and he's been playing with. I see you have Toby Mac. He plays quite a bit with Kevin Max from DC Talks, and so that's all he does is worship now. And so it might be a good thing to connect you guys up. And he does a radio show called Intersect on our network, and that's all about life, music, and faith. So and I'm a believer as well. So I play in my worship band. So kind of good company here, man. So that's pretty cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. And then you guys were at NAMM. How did that turn out for you this year?
Oh, it was great. Like I mentioned before, we keep growing every year, and this year we had a 20 by 30 booth. I was going to say 60. That's quite large. A 20 by 30, and I think we've improved the customer experience this year. So we had a lot more room to kind of talk to customers and be able to, spend a little bit more kind of one-on-one time with them. But generally speaking, kind of the notable moments were where Nathan East showed up at the booth, because we are doing a signature IEM model with him.
Oh, sweet. And
we're launching it this April, where Nathan came to us at NAMM the previous year and tried our stuff and just kind of fell in love with it and said it'd be so awesome to do a signature model where I get to be part of the design process and the tuning process. And that's what we did. We came up with it's a 9-driver model that is specifically tuned to his taste and works quite well for bassists. And it's not bassy by any means. It's got that real warm analog kind of quality to it that I think works quite well with Nathan's taste and kind of the style of music that he works on, but also would translate quite well to other producers and musicians.
Yeah. Well, Nathan's a great friend as well. In fact, it's all his dang fault that we have this network, because we started off. He was one of the first people that we interviewed on my show. I just, much like yourself, we started off with one show, and now we're at 18 radio shows. We've got 3 TV web series that we're doing, and we've kind of grown that. So yeah, Nathan is an amazing player, and he definitely is a name that inspires people to really look into technology. So congratulations on that, man. We've got about a minute. We got about a minute left, and what would you like the listening audience to take away from this? All this great information and insight. What would sum it up?
Well, yeah, I would just sum it up that 64 Audio is a company that is about not only having technology for the sake of having technology, but we are constantly working every single day to make the in-ear something that you said at the top of the show, that take away the stigmas and just take away the kind of the negative side effects of using in-ear monitors. And so we've like I said, we're always putting in technologies that actually have a tangible difference to the experience. And what I'd encourage people to do is especially come here April 2nd, which is going to be our official launch of these new the new generation products with TIA technology.
Very cool. Hey, Vitaliy, I hate to cut you short, man. We it's all on a timer, man. Stay tuned, folks. We'll have more information on the archive, so look for it.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on InterTalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear from Eclectica Studios. I'm a full-time mixing and recording engineer. I work with Grammy winners, labels, and indie artists, using state-of-the-art digital mixing and restoration tools and the very best in analog gear. Really, though, it's my ability to bring tracks to life and fulfill your vision for your music. This has made me sought after by producers and artists worldwide. So spend your time working on music and not chasing a mix down a rabbit hole. Go to timdolbear.com and check out our free one-song mix offer.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time, or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?